Hey guys, what is going on? I want to welcome you back to Pistons Talk Podcast post-game show. Just got done watching the Detroit Pistons face off the Houston Rockets on this Friday night. What a game, you guys. We're going to get into a bunch of stuff. I see a lot of comments in the feed. If you guys are coming on in with this post-game show, you have a comment, you have thought, the referees, the foul calls, leave them down below in the comment section. We're going to get to these quarter notes. I'll open up the show to questions and comments, and we'll just have a fun Friday night. It's going to be Saturday night in about 20 minutes because it's 11:40 as I am recording this right now. First and foremost, before we get into the quarter notes, Karis LeVert didn't play. He got downgraded really late. I think it was like 30 minutes before the game. So Karis LeVert didn't play. Still no Marcus Sasser, still no Jaden Ivey. So there is that. Right off the start in this first quarter, Asar had two quick foul calls, and he was really huge in this game. Ron Holland came in, stepped up, brought energy, but Ron got three fouls in the first quarter as well. But after he did get his three fouls, he finished with 6 points and 3 rebounds. And I love that for Ron. He was hitting his shots. He's just so fearless out there. I think that's the one thing that I really love about Ron Holland is just his ability to attack the basket. He doesn't care if it's a 10-year vet. He's still going to go up strong. Absolutely love that. Duncan Robinson. He scored 2 points his opening night against Chicago. Tonight, much better. Had 3 blocks. Was a factor in the scoring column. Hit threes. Kept plays alive as well. There was a couple opportunities in the first quarter where he was just, battling for offensive rebounds, passing the ball back out to the top. And the Pistons had opportunities to score. Pistons did have a 9-point lead. Houston did surge back. They went on a 15-4 run. After that 15-4 run, Pistons got a bunch of free throws in the first, but they just couldn't hit it. There was an altercation with Jabari Smith Jr. and Asar. And then there was a possession where Isaiah Stewart crashed the glass, only made 1 free throw. Pistons got like 7 free throw attempts in like a 25-second span. But to end the first quarter, Houston had a 1-point lead, 33-32. Coming out of the second quarter, the Pistons came out with a lot of energy, a lot of aggression. Absolutely love that. And they did get a pretty good lead in this. One of the funniest things in the second quarter, Houston had 6 players on the court, so they got a technical foul. Alperen Sengun was confused. Pistons bench caught that right away, so there was some technical fouls on that. Tobias's defense, I thought, was really good considering all the stops he made, the strips. He made it really difficult for a lot of the Houston Rockets players, whether it was going up against KD, who still got his points tonight, or Alperen Sengun, or trying to box out Steven Adams. This is a Houston Rockets team that is a very large team. They have a lot of length, a lot of guys over 6'8". So I thought Tobias did well tonight defensively. He was grabbing rebounds. So, got to give a little shout out to Uncle T. And Asar Thompson, I felt like this was the best game we saw out of Asar Thompson. I believe he finished with 19 points tonight. Hit a 3-point shot. They left him wide open. Really pure jump shot. It was good to see him do that. Hit a couple of mid-range jump shots. And he looked really confident out there. And that's something that I will be paying attention to, because I think with the absence of Jaden Ivey, you're going to see a lot of possessions where Asar Thompson is going to be getting those secondary on-ball reps with Cade Cunningham out there. Love to see that activity from Asar Thompson. Actually hit a shot against his brother late in the fourth and talk shit, which I absolutely love. This is like the sibling rivalry between the Thompson twins. But to end the second quarter, the Pistons had a 63-56 lead. Coming out of halftime, they lost the lead. I felt like the third quarter was probably their worst quarter. but they still ended up having a 1-point lead. They were just really struggling to score in the half court. The Rockets defense really made it difficult for them. So you have to tip their cap to the Houston Rockets defense. But the Pistons did surge late in the third. Paul Reed was so huge. 7 points in the third quarter. The Pistons had an 87-86 lead. The fourth quarter, Cade started to turn it on, hit 2 big threes, and they were both over Jabari Smith. There was one that felt like it was all the way to Dallas, Texas, but they were playing in Houston tonight. But that three was huge. You had Ron Holland foul out. You had Isaiah Stewart foul out. I didn't even mention Jalen Duren getting ejected. I completely forgot it. It just boggled my mind because this game was just so wild. Jalen Duren got ejected for elbowing Amen Thompson in the head. But that fourth quarter was down to the wire. Cardiac Pistons. Man, I was really nervous. I didn't know if we were going to be able to close this out. But Paul Reed just made so many crucial shots, crucial blocks, strips on Alperen Sengun. Cade iced the game with the free throws. Pistons get their first victory of the season in the 25-26 campaign, 115-111 over the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets are actually 0-2 now, to 2 losses, one to Oklahoma City and one to the Detroit Pistons. This was a hell of a game. My adrenaline's still going. The fouling, the ejections, the technical fouls. It was just such a great game. If you guys haven't watched it, highly encourage you to do so later on if you can. But I do want to get to some comments and questions with you guys. I just want to go through the live chat real quick. So just give me a couple of seconds as I see you guys just, spamming the chat right now. And I absolutely love it. So we do have a couple of starred. So Alex Jasper. Star and Ron are menaces to society. B-ball Paul for president. Yeah, that's the vibes, man. The 9 to 5. B-ball Paul. I think we have to give him credit for this fact. Paul Reed is a third-string center on this team. Jalen Duren's a starter. Isaiah Stewart gets most of the backup minutes. The minutes that he gave them in the third quarter, scoring 7 points and making crucial defensive stops in the fourth, getting the steals, making it difficult for Alperen Sengun to score in the low post. Paul Reed, hell of a game. Happy that he was able to step up for the Pistons tonight in this one. Had a comment from Dante Massey. Pistons fought well. Really good game from Asar. And another almost triple-double for Cade while being doubled the whole game. Really think the whole team stepped up, especially Paul Reed. Yeah, collectively, this is a team. It's a next man up mentality. It's like the Lions in a sense, where like when the Lions are down a player, it's just next man up. It's that Detroit grit that the Lions talk about. The Pistons talk about having grit. Like Paul Reed being a third-string center, stepping up. Cade Cunningham being double, triple team for a majority of the night, still found ways to assist and score. Did have a high turnover game, but if you watch the game, you could understand why. They were blitzing him every opportunity they got, and he still found a way to be impactful tonight. And Asar. Asar was huge. Asar really stepped up. I thought he was really aggressive defensively, playing the passing lanes. Great overall defense from him tonight. A comment from Allen, Detroit. He says, Javonte Green's defensive pressure, playing Jenkins to open up the floor, and Paul Reed with his pressure and toughness. Yeah, you got to give a shout out to Javonte Green. He's a guy on the bench that I think is going to get more playing time than people realize. He's a good defender, hit some threes tonight. I think he's so versatile as a player. I think JB is going to really rely on him a lot this season, especially with having Ron off the bench, and you can kind of, mismatch those two together. I think they really complement each other defensively. And if Javonte's hitting 3-point shots like that, I think it's great for the Pistons. Donis Jenkins, man, I'm so happy for him. He hit some really big shots in this one. He hit a wide open three. Houston just left him wide open. hit a big-time three-point shot in the second half of this game. So happy for him. He got those backup point guard reps while Cade Cunningham was resting on the bench. And Paul Reed with his pressure and toughness, absolutely love it for these bench guys just stepping up. That after Duran got ejected, they knew that they did have to step up. So this is a comment that I saw in the comment section if you're watching live on YouTube right now. And I absolutely love this. And it's from AFBH 1682. He says that there were 55 personal fouls called tonight. According to Google, the record is 60, set in 1949. It felt like it. Duncan Robinson at halftime said, like, hey, this game might last 3 hours. 55 personal foul calls seems about right. I felt like the refs really lost control of this game early on around the second quarter, especially after the Duran and Amen Thompson altercation. One of the refs repetitively said, like, get control of your guys, get control of your guys. And it just felt like the officials just lost control of the game in a sense. I just as a Piston fan and a basketball fan, I thought both sides, the way it was officiated, it was just wild. I've never witnessed a game where there have been that many foul calls. I get it's very early on in the season. Maybe these refs are a little bit rusty with the game, but I mean, like 55 foul calls in a game isn't even enjoyable as a basketball fan. Like it's just not. I don't know about you guys. I don't want to, see 55 personal foul calls for both sides of a basketball game. I think it's just it's too much. I mean, let these guys play. Let them, be physical. I mean, if it gets out of line where, people are fighting, I get it. You want to do double technicals, cool. But a lot of these ticky-tack fouls, like the Alperen Sengun kind of flopping his head back to get Isaiah Stewart because he felt contact, like stuff like that. It's like, that's not really a foul. That's just a guy trying to bait. But, yeah, that was ridiculous if you do ask me, man. It's really crazy. Mr. Ray lose to Chicago, but win in Houston. We are playing up and down to our competition level early this season. I felt like in Chicago, they just didn't come out focused until the fourth quarter. Tonight, I felt like the attention to detail and the focus was much better. They came out, they knew how good of a basketball team Houston is. They're very familiar with Kevin Durant and the size that they did have, Mr. Ray. I think with young teams, you do get a little bit of inconsistency at times, but it is very frustrating to like watch a game like tonight and then you kind of reflect to Chicago because like they should have beat Chicago all day, just with the vets that they have, the talent that they have. But, overall, I honestly think that on Sunday against the Boston Celtics, the Celtics are going to come in hungry to LCA because they're starting their season 0-2. They're going to want to get a win. But LCA, I think on Sunday is going to be absolutely electric. I really do. It's going to be probably a really good game. I can't wait. I'm not going this year. This is probably the first home opener that I haven't gone to. I usually go every year, but as soon as I saw those ticket prices, I'm like, I'm good, man. I forgot what ticket prices do to good basketball teams. Like you'd be able to go to a basketball game for, you want to get a lower bowl. You could maybe get 2 tickets for like maybe under $150, but man, like 2 lower bowl tickets on a Sunday against the Celtics. Pistons kind of raise those prices, and I get it, man. But hey, I definitely am going to try to make it out to more Pistons games this year. I did want to get to a couple of more questions. Got a question right here from Arthur. Pistons are figuring it out. When they really need a bucket or a stop, they go back to what they know. I agree. I agree. I think we're going to see a lot of Cade Cunningham in moments when they need a closer in the fourth. I think Tobias really helped them out tonight a lot in terms of whether you need a bucket or you just need a calming presence out there. I think Tobias does really help when they need to figure it out, to say. Making stops out there, having Asar, having Ron, having Stu, Paul Reed in it, for instance, tonight, or Javante Green. I think they lock in defensively and try to push the pace in transition. And I think that's why they won this game tonight, because they were pretty sound defensively for a majority of this game. Even when they weren't scoring in the third quarter and Houston kind of got back into the game, I thought the defense was still pretty solid, in my opinion. Not great. I think there's room for improvement, definitely. But overall, I really like what I saw out of them from just a competitive level standpoint. Pistons fan 11, has anyone seen Pablo Torre's latest episode of the day? I have not. You're going to make me watch it. I'm going to have to watch it tomorrow, Pistons fan 11. The last Pablo Torre episode I watched, I got maybe an hour and a half through the Mark Cuban episode. I just haven't been able to watch that, but Pablo, man, he's on a heater. Ever since Bill Simmons called him a fake journalist, he's just been an all-timer. If you guys haven't watched like any of his stuff, definitely do. It's been really entertaining. Mr. Ray, Holland has been the guy I've been most impressed with so far this season. Yeah, same here, man. Like, I know I was kind of hyping him up during the summer league, and people told me to relax, but everything that I've been seeing out of Ron Holland, I thought was very translatable to the regular season. Whether it was the three-point shooting, whether it was just being a pest defensively, going up strong, taking the ball to the basket. Ron is developing at a very fast rate. I said this last post-game show. I think it's going to be very difficult to keep him off the bench if he keeps producing the way that he's producing, Mr. Ray. I think there could be a tough conversation about, like, how do I get Ron Holland more, minutes? Because I think he's a guy right now off the bench, any given night, he could play 25 minutes, 30 minutes a game if he can't stay out of foul trouble. But everything that I've been seeing out of him these first two games, summer league, preseason, I think there's a lot to like with Ron Holland and his future with this team. It'll just be interested to see, like, how soon are we going to get a Sar Thompson and Ron Holland in the starting lineup? How soon? Because I honestly think it could be a situation. And you say future shooting guard. Yeah, that's what I think he might be. Now, I know Jaden Ivey's on the team. He's currently out. I don't really know what his future holds with the Pistons. Can't keep everybody, but if Holland's shot is consistent, I think you can put him at shooting guard. I've mentioned, like, maybe, Ron Holland's your shooting guard, or Sar Thompson's your small forward. Having those guys as 2-3, I think defensively on the wings really does help. But it'll be interesting to see. I'm really curious if JB will experiment with putting Ron Holland at shooting guard. Nights like tonight, you probably don't, just because Duncan Robinson really brought it offensively. But I think it's a conversation that we will be having on the podcast this year, because I honestly think that Ron Holland could be the future shooting guard of this team. But that's just me. Rocky says, Ron is almost a guilty pleasure to watch. He does his fair share of goofy stuff, but he's starting to become really good, and he sets the tone with energy and effort. My second favorite Piston. Yeah, man, it's a thing where, like, when he comes into the game, the energy automatically goes up, and I think it's infectious with his teammates. Because the way that he competes, the way that he defends, I think his teammates are like, okay, like this kid's going hard. Like, I got to kind of match his energy. And I think it's good for the team overall, because then they all start running. They all start making defensive stops. And the energy goes up. He's one of my favorite Pistons to watch right now. I think for me, like, I'm very high on him. I think I have so much stock in him, becoming a two-way player. And so is Trajan Langdon. I mean, Trajan Langdon was on the Zach Lowe show saying, like, it won't surprise me if Ron Holland becomes a two-way player, because he puts so much work into basketball, whether it's working on his three-point shot, film, like every facet of the game, Ron gives 110%. JB needs to give us our more minutes, 30 minimum a night. Nights like tonight, Michigan made. He did have 3 fouls very early on. I think that's why his minutes weren't as high, just because of the foul trouble. But you're right. Like any given night, Asar Thompson should be getting 30 minutes a night. It's just the fouling if you're looking at the box score, maybe. But I do agree. I think Asar is going to be a guy that they lean on very heavily to be that perimeter defender, to be that Swiss Army knife defensively, honestly. But I think tonight it was just a thing where like it was foul trouble overall. But yeah, like Rocky mentioned that Asar picked up 2 quick fouls. That's why he wasn't getting those minutes at night. But I'm probably going to wrap up this podcast, you guys. I know 20 minutes is usually like what we do. We did record a podcast earlier today. It'll be scheduled on Sunday morning. We talked to a Celtics podcaster like myself, a reporter. She is part of the same network as I am. I don't know if I announced it to you guys, but I did join the Believe Podcast Network. We joined about a week ago, and we've been doing more podcasts. If you guys have noticed, I've been trying to do these pregame podcasts and then do post games after, with whether it's content creators or podcasters like myself for the opposing team. So we talked with Celtics reporter tonight. That'll be going up on Sunday morning. It was about a 25, 26 minute conversation about the Celtics and, what their off season and stuff like that. But that'll be going out on Sunday morning. We're probably not going to do our longer podcast that we do on the weekend, just because I've just done so much and made a little bit of a break. But we'll probably have a podcast maybe throughout the week, a longer form podcast. Maybe just depends on the day. I don't really know the Pistons schedule off the top of my head, but just wanted to kind of give you guys an update there, the weekend podcast. But I do appreciate you guys, tapping on in with me after this impressive Detroit Pistons win over the Houston Rockets. Again, the Pistons win this one 115-111. Their next game is on Sunday at 3:30 against the Boston Celtics. Until next time, you guys, take care. Have a great night. And as always, go Pistons. Peace.